Greetings fellow Whovians and welcome to Timey Wimey Review, where today I review the Doctor Who spin-off which has not had much love over the years, but is certainly worth talking about, which is Class, which was originally broadcast on BBC Three as part of the BBC iPlayer channel back in October 2016. Now, just in case you don't know what Class is, it centres around Coal Hill Academy and the introduction of 4 teenagers and their teacher, Miss Quill. However, one of the students, named Charlie, and Miss Quill are actually aliens posing as humans, with the twist being that Miss Quill now must protect Charlie as punishment for her war crimes against Charlie's race, the Rhodians. In this particular episode, entitled For Tonight We Might Die, we have a new alien threat known as the Shadowkin, who has arrived to kill Charlie, who is the prince and one of the last remaining survivors of his own people. I'll start off with the characters in this story, and it's quite a good cast of characters. I think they've acted really well. So do forgive me, I will forget some of the names. I've jotted them down, but it is a little bit. These characters are a little bit kind of tick boxy in terms of we kind of seen them before. Kind of a bit like it's a little bit like Power Rangers, not as extreme as Power Rangers. It is pretty much, I think, kind of joked in this as well, which kind of irks me a little bit in this episode, where it's pretty much like Doctor Who meets Vampire Diaries. So we kind of have the cool, stubborn one in Ram. We have the kind of the nice, sort of a bit naive person in April. We've also got the clever one who's a younger age to the rest of the group in Tanya, and then we have the mysterious one with Charlie being an alien and being the prince and the last of his own race. So and obviously doing the sort of quirky, goofy comedy of trying to act like a human and clearly failing in some aspects. My favourite character out of all of them, though, was Miss Quill, played by Catherine Kelly. I was just totally blown away by her performance. I completely forgot that it's actually I think she played Rebecca. I do forgive me. I'm not a big Corrie fan, but basically she was in Coronation Street, but here she was so cool. I really liked her. She was very sort of narky, quirky, very much in your face. Really enjoyed her performance. Definitely that she was the standout character for me in Class. I'm basing my opinion a little bit on the second episode as well, because the first episode is pretty much an introduction. The monsters sort of running around sort of scenes, they're pretty much in the background. You kind of got a bit more of a fleshed out and a bit more of a better feel for Class in episode 2. But I won't go into too much details in there. But what I really enjoyed is a bit of more of a darker tone. It is a very tonal shift from what you've seen in obviously Doctor Who and Sarah Jane Adventures. I would say it's a little bit more darker than Torchwood. I think there was just going on that type of road really, and so yeah, I quite enjoyed or quite appreciated that they tried to tackle a different direction and a bit more sort of like very much a coming of age teenage drama, where they're sort of talking about like sex and a few rude words going off, and we see some bums, we see a bottom in episode 2. But yeah, I kind of liked that aspect of it, and the characters they were pretty well thought out and fleshed out and performed to tackle these issues. But we do have a cameo appearance from the Doctor himself, the 12th Doctor to be precise, with Peter Capaldi. And I think this was Class was set between Series 9 and Series 10 of Doctor Who. And we just pretty much wrapped up the Clara story arc. And apart from a really funny line that Peter Capaldi did deliver really well to do with cabinets and IKEA, he was pretty much there, to quote The Simpsons, to endorse this event or product. He didn't really have anything much to do with this episode, just to sort of set up the sort of overall story for Class and go, hey, I'm the Doctor. These are my new kind of friends. Go watch their adventures. Bye. And that was kind of what I felt was a bit of a downfall to Class, and I can see why it kind of got cancelled or a little bit disinterest from the general audience, because it was very much, apart from that brief cameo appearance and just Cole Hill, which is a very unique sort of reference, really. Is a very much an old Doctor Who sort of reference, so not many people would have picked up on it. You wouldn't really think it's a Doctor Who spin-off at all. You could have easily just, it wouldn't surprise me if this script came to life through like different sort of mediums, and then they went, well, hey, why don't we just throw some Doctor Who bits and make it a spin-off, which is a bit unfair to the writers and the actors involved in Class, because again, they did do a really good job. It was just that there was so not really much to do with Doctor Who in the first place, that it didn't really have much of a leg to stand on to be its own series in its own right. And also, on top of that, I think the BBC didn't quite know what to do with it either. First off, they didn't really have any other sort of Doctor Who monsters or villains. No one to really focus on. So, for example, take a look at the other spin-offs. You had Torchwood, where you had Captain Jack, and he was the sort of the main centre, and then you build up characters around him. Same as Sarah Jane Smith. The main person is Sarah Jane, and you build other characters around him. With this, they were kind of left to their own devices, which in one hand is really brave, and on the other hand is really difficult to sort of get an audience engaged with. As I mentioned earlier, I think the BBC just didn't know what to do with this show, because they put it on BBC Three, which at the time was just solely on the BBC iPlayer outlets. It didn't have a broadcasting channel at all, which on one hand is, quite clever, because they were clearly going for the 18 to 34 demographic. But I think if you don't have a broadcasting outlet, I still think live TV, or at least TV scheduling, is king. And like I said, if they didn't have an actual channel to broadcast it on as a digital channel, then the show was pretty much dead and buried already. Now, to be fair, it did get a broadcasting on BBC One in January 2017, but it was in a graveyard slot. So again, BBC shot themselves in their own foot again. So sadly, that's why we only got 8 episodes. I think if they tried to launch it now as just a digital or a subscription service, like Netflix, especially in the next, if they did this over the past 2 years, I think Class would have garnered a lot more of an audience demand and a bit more of an attention. But sadly, it's not to be. Now, normally, when TV shows have been cancelled, like on Netflix or Disney Plus or Amazon Prime, normally I would just not bother checking them out. I don't know whether it's because it was loosely based on Doctor Who. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to give it a fair chance. And I'm glad I did, because I do recommend, even though it is only 8 episodes long, to check out this spin-off series if you haven't before, or if you watched the first episode, give it another go. I think there's a lot on the table that was there to be offered. And I think the running theme from what I got from Class, especially the last 2 episodes, or the first 2 episodes that I watched, was that the monster sort of element is kind of just the sort of bums on seats type of scenario. You're more invested in the characters and how they deal with social issues and sort of quite darker issues like PTSD and obviously being a teenager, sex, romance, you name it. I think they go through it all. The characters are interesting. They definitely have some good moments from what I've seen, and I'm very much looking forward to watching the rest of the 8 episodes. I'm so much more invested in Class as well, because I've only just recently known that the Big Finish Audios took over after the show got cancelled, and they've done some audio adventures over the last few years. Very much interested in the episode, I think it's called Remembrance, where they bring back Ace, and they bring back a single Dalek running around the school. So a nice little sort of wink and a nod to remembrance of the Daleks. So I'm definitely going to have to try and find that CD in somewhere. I know it's out of print. I think you can download it, but I'm going to have to give this audio adventure a go. Overall, I was genuinely surprised with Class and watching them 2 episodes. I'm definitely going to check out the rest of the series. And I was really enjoying the cast. I enjoyed the characters, especially Miss Quill. She's the one that did it for me. Well done, Catherine Kelly. So for that reason, I'm going to give Class, at least the first episode of Class, a TARDIS rating of 6.5 out of 10. It's definitely worth taking the time out and checking it out. It is on BBC iPlayer. It's also on HBO Max. Now, obviously in the UK, just at the beginning of February 2022, they have relaunched BBC Three as a digital TV channel. It's back as a digital TV channel. Now, at the moment, there's no Doctor Who on there. So surely there must be room for at least not Doctor Who, at least Class. Give Class another go. See what it does in the ratings. You never know. This could be a launching point of bringing Class back to TV. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts to Class. Did you enjoy the series when it was first released in 2016? Are you a big fan of Class? Or would you like to see it come back on TV again? Or would you like to see a second series? Next time on Timey Wimey Review, I'm going to do something a little bit new, a little bit different to the YouTube channel, where I'm going to look at the best and worst Doctor Who cliffhangers. Going to enjoy that. I hope it's going to be a lot of fun. But until then, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that cloister bell for more notifications. But as the good doctor once said, time has looked at your faces, and time never forgets.